Hello, this is Understanding Elon Musk. Today I want to listen to the recording there was of Elon Musk talking about Twitter, and then especially the financial stuff, but also we hear a lot about the code base, and let's start listening to it.
Currently, the issue is that it's going to Google Cloud. Instead of the on-prem stuff, the view count is making a call to Google Cloud in batches at a rate that is towards the magnitude slower than what is needed to render it with the current pipe. That's the actual issue. So, but if you then say, okay, look, we don't care about it being real time because it's something like a like is being updated about every second or so. But if we say on your tweets, yes. On most people's tweets, no. No, I'm saying like the update frequency is near real time. The point of is like view counts are already counted. They're just being batched and being sent over a slow pipe to an analytics software on Google Cloud. Whereas the likes are using the on-prem database, but you could, that's like an arbitrary decision. It could use the on-prem database as well. Yes. If it had not been an arbitrary decision to go off-prem to Google Cloud, then it would be trivial to add likes. It wouldn't be onerous to add views. Even if you're not like too precise about exactly how many views there were, if you like let it float a little bit, and you occasionally drop a view count, so it's like we're not like trying to balance a bad book here, then I think views actually would be relatively easy.
So they're using Google Cloud.
If views were in the same database as likes, yes, it would be easy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they should be. It's absurd that views are on a totally different database in Google Cloud instead of the on-prem system.
So it looks like they use for the views and for the likes they use different methods to store. For one they use a database and one they use Google Cloud. So this is typical problem with if you are developing and you have different teams doing making solutions and don't talk with each other. So for example, if everything would be done in the database, you would have somebody who was responsible for the data, for the likes and the views and all the data matrix in the company. But here it looks like there was just a team. Oh, we have to make something with likes. Oh, let's do it in Google Cloud. Another team. Oh, we have to do something with views. Oh, we use a database, and they build a database. So this is a wild grow of data storage uses and totally not organized or not thought about how to store this data. And now they have, of course, the problems that they have to refactor this in the future and put it all in a database. This looks to be the best solution, and so they have to refactor the database. They have to look how to pull all the data out of Google to get it in the database for historical stuff. So this looks to be again a big task. Let's continue.
Yeah, that's sort of an unnecessary complexity. I mean, the first step right now is like basically combining the difficulties of three different worlds, which is running a complex real-time on-prem database that's in 3 data centers in Atlanta, one near in Oregon, and one in Sacramento. And Sacramento is like possibly the worst place to have a data center because it's hot, and then like the summer it got so hot that the data center failed because the HVAC didn't work. But then in addition to that, you've got
So to listening, they have data centers. They use they split the Twitter data over three sites, and one site is not very not very good chosen because they have temperature problems. It's too hot in the summer, and that means that it falls out. So they have crashes of their data center because of the temperature. So this is just a bad choice of management, and also again, where do you store the data? How do you how do you manage it? So this is a big failure of Twitter again, and this is also what Elon Musk now is saying. Let's continue.
Also using AWS, so using Amazon and using Google Cloud.
So they're using AWS, Google Cloud, and what was it? AWS, Google Cloud, and let's listen a little bit back.
Extract more. Okay, in addition to that, you've got also using AWS,
AWS,
using Amazon, and using Google Cloud.
and Global Gas. Amazon, AWS and Amazon is the same. So they use different systems. So maybe he meant Azure or something. So they're using all the virtual platforms. That shows also that the engineers they are hiring, they are not like have a specific skill set, and they want to build on that skill set. It looks that the people that worked for Twitter were free to do what they want. So one uses AWS, so they build in AWS. One maybe in Azure or Microsoft or Google, so they build it. So this is all over the place, the development, and also the data is all over the place. So this will be a very difficult job to all pull it together. Maybe they need an ETL tool to import all the data from all the sites, all the data sites, and then store it in the data warehouse. That would maybe be the first job before refactoring. Put everything every night or as soon as possible, everything in the data warehouse, and then you can rewrite the applications, or you can write services over that data warehouse. Let's listen further.
So all three are required to operate Twitter. Fleets uses AWS. They built all the fleets in AWS. Yeah. I read the Google Docs for why. Basically, what? For why they put fleets in AWS. Basically, they couldn't get enough provisioning for the internal data centers. Yeah, I mean, Sam Pilar has been helping out, and I think Sam was saying there was like some pretty nutty amount of data storage. It actually analytics for app versions that don't exist anymore. Yeah, but I think it was like 15%, maybe 20% was literally logging data from apps that don't exist.
So this is also maintenance of the software and the resources. They are still running services or software doing things that don't exist. So this is also this shows that it's not efficient. Management didn't know what it was doing. Maybe the guy who ran the app was fired, and the other guy who didn't know what was going on, and he just let it go where it was. So this can happen in companies, but source management is not a start point of Twitter, as you can hear. Let's listen to further.
This is like, okay, that's wow. Well, anyway, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. 25% of the CPUs are running the ads prediction model. It's the tiniest model. Those CPUs, only 30% is actually running the model. 70% is serializing and deserializing the data into 4 different formats. Yeah, and here's the crazy thing. So, which was like really kind of mind blowing to think about it. It took me a few weeks to actually even wrap my head around it. Google, or I should say, Twitter's advertising is actually, for the most part, irrelevance optimizing. And so it's like, wait a second, what do you mean irrelevance optimizing? Well, when I ask people who've used Twitter for a while, it's like, how many things did you bought on Twitter? The answer is usually nothing. Then it's like, well, how many things did you buy on Instagram? Oh, I bought a whole bunch of stuff last week. It's like, well, don't you think it's interesting that you would have accidentally bought something on Twitter after all this time? And like, the reason you haven't is because the ads are maximizing irrelevance. I feel like I'm stuck in a Douglas Adams novel. because the team was told to maximize the number of advertising impressions. So what happens if you try to maximize advertising impressions? Well, you actually are going to maximize your relevance, because if somebody's spending 5 minutes on Twitter and 2 of those 5 minutes are spent clicking on an ad, you've now lost 40% of your impressions. Like head exploding emoji.
Yeah. Dwell time is probably a much better signal for ads than impressions. This is what makes TikTok so good. They have dwell time on all the videos. The time you spend on an ad is probably better than whether you saw the ad or not. Though I somewhat disagree in the limit. If you had an ideal ML model trying to maximize impressions, I think you'd end up with someone who just scrolls Twitter and looks at the ads all day.
Look, I'm just saying that, when I was going through this with some engineers a few weeks ago, it took me a moment. It was so insane that I couldn't comprehend it. It took me a while to actually understand that because I was saying no, we want people to click on the ads. That's the whole point of having an ad, is so that you might buy something. That's the reason for advertising. And so, an ad that is highly relevant is content. An ad that is irrelevant is spam. So we want ads that are as relevant to people's needs as possible, and yet I see many ads that, in fact, most ads are not relevant. And when I ask people what are the concerns about Twitter, it's like, well, Twitter keeps showing me the same ad that I don't care about all the time. I'm like, well, that seems crazy. But then I found the reason, which is that they were being asked to maximize impressions instead of maximizing actual clicks and buying things, which is what they should be doing.
When you run an ad campaign on Twitter, you can choose, I think. I'm not really sure what the backend does. I heard the backend tries to maximize money, but you can choose whether you want to run an impressions campaign or whether you want to run a clicks campaign.
Yes, things have changed recently.
So they have some issues with all the stuff they use for ads, and it looks like there's a big misunderstanding how to measure it and all the stuff. You heard George and Alan discussing about this, and even in the beginning he didn't even understand how the metrics worked at Twitter for these ads. And this is often also in companies that management, one piece of the company does something that the rest of the company doesn't understand, or some engineers do something because they think this is how it works, this is the best way, but the rest, maybe management even, doesn't know if that is really the case, and they don't discuss it. So this can lead to also problems that they build things that nobody understands, and if they found out later how it works, they are very surprised. So this is about the ads. Let's take a pause.